you interested in politics but don't know much about the parties involved in the upcoming elections?
This video will break down each parties and what they represent in terms of education, healthcare systems, the environment, immigration, and provincial independence. Although you've seen their faces before, let's just recap who the main four leaders of the four political parties are. First, we have Philippe Couillard, leader of the Liberal Party of Quebec. He has been our Prime Minister since April of 2014.
Then there's Parti Québécois, whose leader is Jean-François Lisée.
Another political party is the Coalition Avenir Québec. Its leader and founder is François Legault.
Finally, there is Québec Solidaire, which is led by two spokespeople, Gabriel Nadeau-Dubois and Manon Massé. The latter would become Prime Minister should the party win its election.
You might have already heard of the left and right political spectrum. On this spectrum, parties that are on the left are in favor of social progress, collective rights, and a lot of state intervention. On the right, parties are mostly in favor of individual rights, the free market, and very limited state intervention. Here are the main promises of each party.
The PLQ's main goal is to give everyone the opportunity to express their talents according to their aspirations. Now they plan on doing this by 1. Boosting the high school graduation rates from 68 to 85% by the year 2030, 2. Give teachers better working conditions, and 3. Introduce a $400 million a year plan to renovate schools.
In terms of education, Québec Solidaire promises free education from daycare to university, financed partly by raising the tax rate for corporation from 11.7% to 14.5% and raising tax rates by those who earn more than $97,000 a year.
They also promise to invest $340 million for hiring more teachers and giving teachers better conditions.
The Quebecer Party wants to, in the domain of education, they want to bring back school classes for kids with learning disabilities in public schools. They also want to impose a law to stop and prohibit compressions on investments in education, such as renovations or teachers.
The CAC presents promises on education such as more specialized professional services, so more resource teachers, speech therapists, psychoeducators to support children with learning disorders. In addition, they want to bring an administration that is closer to the people. School elections and school boards will be abolished, removed. School staff will be empowered. Existing school boards will be turned into school service centers. Finally, for CEGEPs, the CAC wants to grant greater freedom to develop programs better adapted to the needs of the region of each CEGEP.
The PLQ believes that equal access to healthcare should be a government responsibility. They want to act on that by spending $200 million in order to hire new healthcare staff. They also want to introduce super clinics all across the Quebec territory in order to make sure that all Quebecers have access to equal healthcare.
In terms of the healthcare system, Québec Solidaire promises a more accessible healthcare and free dental care for everyone.
They also promise to have CLSCs open 24/7 with professionals.
On the healthcare system, they want to put prevention and promotions for healthy lifestyles, such as for CPR formations for all high schoolers all students in 4th grade of high school. They obviously also want to put in more nurses and CLSCs and improve the job environment.
They would like to give all Quebecers access to a family doctor and hopefully make them see them within a reasonable time frame. They're looking at maybe 90 minutes. They would also like to give something to all Quebecers called first-line care access. Access to care without appointment. Better access to healthcare during the evening and the weekend at any CLSC or FMGs. Give clinics the ability to have patients make appointments online, and doing so will reduce the waiting time in hospital emergency rooms. Finally, they would like to talk about nurses. Nurses, they would like to increase the amount of full-time nurses working for us right now. They want to give no more mandatory overtime, and they would like to do a revision on the nurse-to-patient ratio.
They believe that economic development must take place in due regard for the environment. To this end, they want to spend $2.9 billion by the end of 2023 on sustainable mobility, and they're trying to make internet available all over the Quebec territory by the year 2020.
On environment and energy, Quebec Solidaire plans to impose a polluter pays policy when it comes to toxic waste.
They also promise to decrease the rates of public transport to encourage people to take the bus.
On environment and energy, there are three main things they want to do. No more projects to explore and exploit oil, help bigger enterprises go green, and have all school buses be electric.
They would like to increase our clean energy export to the USA, as these exports reduce the greenhouse gases emissions, such as coal, natural gas, and anything else that is contributing to the greenhouse gas problem, pollution.
As for Quebec's place in Canada, the PLQ has always been a federalist party. That's why they intend to keep Quebec part of Canada and make sure they sign the Constitution.
Quebec Solidaire advocates the independence of Quebec.
On Quebec's place in Canada, they want, on their second mandate, so in 2022, to make Quebec an independent country from Canada.
What they want to do is they want for Quebec to have more autonomy within Canada, with the objective for Quebec to have a full constitutional recognition as a nation.
They are for improving and encouraging immigration in order to help the labor shortage in Quebec, and they plan on spending $25 million on French training programs for these immigrants.
On immigration and religion, Quebec Solidaire opposes to the wearing of religious symbols among those who hold coercive state power. That means police, lawyers, and stuff like that.
They also promise to better integrate immigrants into Quebec, so they want to force public service to hire people from visible and ethnic minorities, and they also want to implement immigrant welcoming centers to guide newcomers.
On immigration and religion, they want to sensitize immigrants to the duty of learning French by paying a year's worth of French classes to them before they move here.
They would also like to prohibit religious signs worn by everyone in a position of authority, which includes teachers, people working for the government, and any other position. On immigration, they would like to get 20% fewer immigrants admitted to Quebec. Quebec will remain open to immigration, but the number of immigrants coming in must match our capacity to integrate them into the community. They would like to implement a program called 100% francization. Basically what it means, an immigrant that would like to get a selection certificate must learn French. More work and opportunities will open up for them if they do so. But if after 3 years they have failed to learn their French, they will be expelled out of the province.
And that concludes our little crash course on Quebec's election.
Don't forget to go vote on October 1st from 9:30 to 8 p.m. and remember to bring one valid piece of ID.